Hi everyone, Tony here from Ensemble Manager, and in these videos, video tutorials, we are going to talk about surveys and forms. Now, every orchestra has to go through some sort of survey. You have a guest conductor, you got to survey the orchestra, see what they think. You have somebody who's on tenure track, and by the contract, that section has to take a survey to figure out whether you want to hire this person or not. You're going for a run out, and we need to know how many vegetarians that we have and how many vegans that we have so we know what to feed them. So it's very common to use surveys. And every orchestra kind of does the same thing. You know, you go out to a third party like Google surveys or these other companies that will handle surveys, and you'll do it from there. It just makes a whole lot more sense, especially from an organizational standpoint, to do it in Ensemble Manager. One nice thing about doing it here, it will keep track of who filled out the survey, and it will also stop them from filling it out twice. So maybe they didn't know they did it or not, and they end up doing it twice. So their vote would count two times. So there's a bunch of advantages to having it all under this umbrella. So to get to your surveys and forms, you're going to hover over members here, and you're going to see it right there, surveys and forms. You click it, it'll take you to this window. Now we're going to create a new one from scratch, so I can kind of show you how it works. We're going to click on create new survey. It's going to bring up this window. And the first thing you're going to do is see these two boxes. Now it has to have a name. If you try to submit it without it, it won't let you. You're going to get an error message. And so we're just going to call it my survey. Make it really simple. And then you're going to see this window right here. Now this is completely optional. You don't have to fill this out. But what this is maybe you want to be notified that so-and-so filled out a survey. Or maybe you want to notify somebody that's not an admin. If you've noticed in other parts of the platform, roster, for example, when people confirm or decline a concert, it'll send all the admins an email that this person did such and such, or maybe they changed their information. In this one, it's a little bit more unique. You can specialize this, so you can actually specify which email. If you want more than one, just put a comma, put your other email, and it will send it out to all of those people. So that's what that's for. And then if you've gone through our contracts tutorial, this is identical. It's just like that one. You have a text editor, and just like any other text editor, you can type in text. You can, bold. Get this right. Here we go. Bold it. Oh, come on. My computer's being finicky. There we go. There we go. Or, italic, center, just like any other text editor you've gone through, same way. But I'm just going to write some text. Oh, I've got it set in bold mode. We'll get this fixed eventually. There we go. Okay, now you could have all your text here, and let's say we're going to ask just a basic yes and no question. All right, so you're going to go to your questions drop down here, and there's two things you're going to pick whenever you're doing a very binary question. Like, this requires one answer. You can only give one answer to this. Are you a vegetarian is a classic one. That's going to be yes or no. Drop downs and check boxes are what you're going to use. Generally, I said check boxes, I meant radio buttons. My apologies. Radio buttons look like this. Okay, they're generally used for when you have 2 to 3 answers. If it gets beyond that, then a drop down is much better to use. So you're going to see this little placeholder, and to edit it, you're going to see this icon. We click on that. It's going to take you into edit mode. It starts out with 3, but we're going to get rid. We only need 2 of them. And if you need to add more, you simply click add. If you delete them, you click the little trash can that deletes them. All right, so the first thing you need to know about surveys is if you're asking a question, the question has to go here. You can't write the question up above here, like, are you a vegetarian? The reason for that is, there's a database that's parsing this, so it needs to know what response goes with what question. So that's why you have to put the question right here. So this would be, are you a vegetarian? Okay, now you're going to see option and value. Now, this is a little bit confusing. Let me explain it. Option is what the user is going to see. So we would want yes or no. Now, sometimes this answer might be a little bit long, but you're just looking for maybe true and false, or 1, 2, or yes, no in this case. So the value is going to be what's stored in the database. So in this case, we're going to keep it simple. So we're going to keep this as yes and no. That's generally what it be. But that's why you have two different boxes here. One for what the user's going to see and one for what information you want to be in the database for when you're parsing your information out. All right, so we're going to make this required. So they have to fill this out and we'll click save. All right, so we have my first question. All right, so now let's say I'm going to put more text here. And then let's put another question. Now this question is going to be more of a generic question. So text area, text input is going to be like your little text box, you know, like what is your name? We see those all over websites. Text area is going to be like a box. That's going to be if you want like information, like what is your bio? Include your bio. That would be a good one. You want to use a text area. This is going to be we're going to use a text input, which is going to look like this. Again, I got to go into edit mode. I got to put my question here. And a classic one is preferred name in program. Okay, so that's going to be my question. And then placeholder is, you always see these in little text boxes. That's going to be whatever's going to be prompting them to put something. So maybe full name or preferred name. I'm going to just put full name for right now. I'm also going to make this required. And that's how I would do that. Now, if you want to delete one of your questions, let's say you made a mistake, or like, oh, I don't need to add that one, always go and click in edit mode and click the trash can to remove it. Don't just remove it because there could be mistakes in the code. Okay, so now we have just a really basic survey. All right, so I'm going to click save. And you can see right here. Now, let's talk about some of these other things that you're going to see on this, you're going to wonder about. All right, so this column right here says page. What this is, I'm going to unpublish that one. This is going to make your survey a page on the front end that the users can see. So for example, I'm going to click to publish. I just published this. All right, so now if I go to the front site over here, you're going to notice I've got my survey. So it created a page, and I can click on that, and it will take me to this page. All right, so now we're going to go back, and let's talk about this icon. This icon is going to be hide from view. That means it's basically hiding it from. So let's say somebody comes upon your site, and we're going to cover this one next. If you click here, it's going to copy this link. This is the link to the survey. So if I want somebody to access the link directly, I just put that in there. All right, so you notice it says, oops, page not found. That's because I hid it. So if you're working on a survey, but you don't want anybody to see it, you would click this. That means if anybody happens to stumble on it or, however they get to it, they're not going to see it. If I unhide it, now I go to here and I click this. There, I see it, right? All right, so that's what that's going to be. And I've covered this is how you copy a link. A lot of times you're going to want to take the link and then email it to your orchestra. Or you might just want to go, hey, go to the front site. You'll see there's a page there. Go to and fill out the survey. That's how you're going to do that. All right. So in this section, we talked about how you generate a survey. Now let's talk about what the users do, and also once it's done, what do you do with that information?